So now you have a bodice sloper, so let's start using it. Today, I'll show you how I move my darts anywhere around the bodice sloper and why it's such a powerful tool in pattern making. I can create different designs while maintaining the fit. The secret is dart pivoting. Darts are used to shape fabric around curves, particularly the bust, but you're not stuck with where they currently are. You can move them anywhere. So let's get started. Darts don't always need to stay darts. In future videos, I'll show you how you can manipulate darts into seams, such as princess seams, or into gathers or pleats, and all the while you still keep the same great fit. And sometimes you don't want darts at all, so you just want to eliminate that. I have a video here that shows you how to eliminate all darts in a woven sloper, turning it into a knit sloper. Or you may just want to eliminate the darts so you have a lot more ease in your garment if you want a very loose fitting garment. So in future videos, I'll also show you how to do those things. The most common way to manipulate a dart is to just move it. So if you currently have a dart that's in the side seam, you can move it up into the shoulder, down into the waist, even into the armhole, or into the neckline. Anywhere you want to move the dart, you can. There's two ways that you can do that. It's either the pivot method or the slash and spread. I'll show you both. We'll start with the slash and spread method. So to do that, you're going to take your sloper, which I have on cardstock, and I traced it onto another piece of paper because you never want to cut into your actual sloper. So I always start with a brand new piece. The way this method is, we're going to take a dart that we have currently right here, and we're going to move it somewhere else. Now this dart I always have in my armhole. I often don't take this dart, but I have it there because if I have a sleeveless, sometimes I do want to take it, so it's always there. So we're just going to focus on this one. So then you need to decide where you want to put your dart. You can put the new dart anywhere you want. Let's just sort of rotate around. And we want to start at the bust point. So this here is the bust point because, like I said, I don't normally use this dart. So I just continue to keep this going to the bust point. The reason this one is not quite reaching the bust point is because you always want to back away from the bust point. If you brought the dart the whole way to the bust point, it's going to make a very pointy bust. So that was sort of like the 1950s look, in which we don't go for. So mine is backed off maybe 3/4 of an inch. You could even back it off further, a little bit further, an inch and a quarter, something like that. Anywhere in that range, you would back it off. So we're going to work from the bust point and make sure you know where your bust point is. So I'm going to just draw some lines to show you the potential. We could have a dart going to the corner of there. We could have what they call as a French dart that sort of goes to the lower side. I do that a lot. I really like that. We could have one going straight here. Let's go rightly perpendicular to that line. We could have one going straight out to the side there, which is a very common place for a dart. You could I could take this dart and put it all into this one here if I so chose. So I'll just leave that there. We can go somewhere like halfway in the middle here. I'm just going to estimate halfway in the middle. So we could go up to the shoulder. We could also have a dart that goes anywhere in the neckline. Sometimes I love having a pleated neckline, and that's how you accomplish that. Or you can go to just in the center here, like that. Or you can also just bring this one right across too. You could have a dart going the whole way across here. Oh, and I guess the last one here, we could have one going to this center, the waist front as well. So you can see I can put darts anywhere I want. I could also just move one further, if I wanted someplace else on the waist, anywhere amongst them. These are just some obvious choices, but anywhere amongst here we can move our dart. So I think for today, we're going to choose this one. We're going to move the dart from here to here. So the way you do that is through the slash and spread. Let me turn this around. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up one of the legs of the original dart. Either leg is fine. It does not matter which leg that you cut up. And you can see I'm cutting through right up to the bust point, but just to the bust point. And then this is where we want our new dart. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut that leg, and just in being careful not just to cut up to the bust point, but leave a little tiny hinge on there. So you can see I have a little tiny hinge. So I'm going to get my tape. Now I have two different types of tape here. This tape I have is easily removable tape, and this is just regular Scotch tape. So I liked in this instance, if I perhaps want to reopen up the dart, I use this tape because it's very easily removed. So that's what I'm going to use today. And so what we're going to do is take this is original dart, and we're just going to close that dart to reach the other dart leg, to completely close that up, and then tape it. So as you see, we closed that dart up, and this opens the dart here. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. I just keep, I'll keep this scrap after I'm done here. I'll take this. I just throw it to the side of my table, so I always have scraps. I'm going to put a scrap piece of paper underneath there for the new dart. I'm going to tape that down. And there's no reason, you can use regular tape for this, but I think I'm going to take this off a little bit here. So I just want something that's easily removable, but there's no reason you have to have this tape that's easily removable. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just draw this leg so I can easily see where the new dart leg is. And there is our new dart. Now that we've opened up this new dart, we need to true the side seams. The way we do that is we're going to fold it like it was closed. And for a dart that is horizontal like this, you usually press it down, the dart bulk, you press down. So I'm going to fold that bottom leg, and I'm just going to have it match the upper leg here. And you can see the dart bulk is in here, so it's folded down. And then I'm going to take my tracing tool here and just trace over that really well to make a mark, or you could just cut also. You could just cut there. I would prefer not to cut at this point because I want to add my seam allowance. You can see I left a lot of extra paper here, so I can easily add seam allowance once I'm done with all of this, because you remember your sloper never has a seam allowance. So you can see here, let me draw that over. Once you fold it, it creates this little bit of a V. And I'm going to draw those new lines in. So that's what you typically do, depending which, if I would have folded it so the bulk was folded up, it would have had an inside V. So that's why it's important to fold it, and then you get the exact shape. So then when you are sewing it, we will sew that close like that, and it all has a nice edge. We also have to think, we can see here there's a little bit of a jog. It comes down and up and over. So we have to just smooth that out. I'll take my French curve for that, just to have just an ever so slightly curve. I usually do part from one and part from another. So you can see, you just want to smooth that out just so it's a nice smooth curve. Very minor. You could have done that with cutting as well. And then we have to back away from the dart. As I said, we never want the dart end to go right up to the bust point. It would just turn into a very pointy bust. So you can come out, maybe we want to come out an inch. It's really a little bit of a preference. You could go out half an inch. I guess it also depends on your size. If you're a very small size, maybe you want to come out a little less. If you're a larger size, come out a little bit more. And then you would just redraw those dart legs to that point. So from here to that new dart end, and here to the new dart end. So there we go. We have our new dart. This is our new dart here. This is our new dart. It comes to here. So that's how you move a dart in this way. Now, I did have a viewer ask me a question saying, what happens if you didn't want to move the entire dart? If you wanted to just move part of it. So let's just remove this. Let's say I want to move this one now to the shoulder. So I'm going to cut this open like we did. Actually, we don't need to cut it open. I can just, this is why I did this. So we want to go back to the center point, to the bust point. So I'll just open that up. And then so I'm going to cut through the new, I want to move just half of it to this point here. Let's say that was what we wanted to do. Okay, so I can just come to that point. So instead of closing the entire dart up, that would open it up this much. I'm just going to go halfway and close it halfway point. And then I have just a smaller dart here. So I have a smaller dart here and a dart here. The use case for this is perhaps you have a very, very big bust dart and you're turning your woven sloper into a knit sloper where you need to eliminate all the darts. But then it gets very difficult because when you're doing that, you would have this very large bust dart and you would then remove that dart from the end and it would really do a big curve here. So what you might do is take just part of it here and move the other part here. So it would just be a small dart here that you would remove from the side. And then you'd have a small dart here that you'd move from the end. So that would be the use case, but you can do that wherever. That's just one practical use case, but you might just want two small darts, particularly if you have a big bust. You may not want a huge bust dart here. You might want to spread the bust dart throughout the pattern, and that's how you would do it. Okay, so the second method we're going to do to move a dart is called the rotation method. The advantage of this is you do not have to cut into your pattern. So this is our sloper, and we're going to be creating a pattern. The other one we had to slash and spread. This one we do not have to in this method. So let's show you how to do that. First, we're going to indicate the bust point. I have a little hole drilled in there so I can just press right through there and indicate my bust point. Everything, darts are always rotating around the bust point. So very, very important that you have that in the correct location. Our original dart is here and we're going to move it again to the same location. I'm just going to make a little tiny mark there where I want to move it to. I want to move it right there. So that's where we're going to start. I'm going to start tracing around the sloper, and it really makes it easy to trace around this sloper once because I have it on cardstock, so it's much easier than when it's on a piece of paper. So carefully trace around until we get to the original dart. Okay, so here's the original dart. I'm going to draw a little line in there. I'm going to draw a line there. That's the original dart. And I'm going to take my awl or anything sharp and pointy. I'm going to put that in the bust point so I can pivot. So I'm going to pivot this until I reach that line I just drew. So I'm basically, in essence, closed that dart. And then I'm going to just continue around until I reach this point. So here's my little point that I originally reached. And there is the new dart leg. So this is the one dart leg, and that is the other dart leg. Then we'll draw in the dart legs. So we're going to go from the end here to the bust point, to this end, to the bust point. So there's we've closed it here and we've added it here. Now we do need to back away let's first just make sure both these dart legs are the same. So this is about 6.5 and 6.5. So that's just about like 1/8 over 6.5. Well, they're very, very close. Let's just come out. You just have to do, they're very, very close. I'd say they're good, but sometimes it does, one dart leg might be a little longer than the other. You need to make sure that these are both the exact same length because we are sewing them together, so they have to be the same. We need to back off the dart, just we did before. Let's do that by 1 inch and draw our final dart legs here. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing to true the seam, the side seam. We're going to fold along that. Sometimes what helps is if you score it with the tracing wheel, score that bottom. Just makes folding it a little bit more easy. So we take our tracing wheel and trace over that. So there we go. We get the shape we need. Let's draw that in. And then we also have, we see here, we have a bit of a jog in the bottom like we typically do. So we'll just smooth that out. I take a little bit from one and add to the other. There we go. Just smooth that out. Okay, so we've moved our dart from here and put it over here. We have it all in the right shape. And then the last thing we would just do is add our seam allowances. So I typically put in 1/2 inch seam allowance. So once you add the seam allowance, then it turns it into a pattern. So I'd go the whole way around and add my seam allowance. This is why I like to start with a little bit bigger piece of paper, because the worst is when you cut it out and then you realize you didn't put your seam allowances, that you have to tape a piece onto it, and that's quite frustrating to add that seam allowance. Some people just put the pattern on and cut the seam allowance while it's on the fabric. I like to be a little bit more precise than that, so I don't do that. If you want to learn more about sewing a dart, check out this video here. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.